There have been several attempts to create cryptocurrencies that are similar to Bitcoin, which is advantageous since it's less expensive, more quickly, and can process more transactions per second. In the video that we have for you today, we're going to discuss what Litecoin is and how it operates. People often believe that Bitcoin is designed to be used as a medium for long-term value storage, whereas Litecoin is traded to be a form of sound money that can be used for making day-to-day transactions. For instance, there are also many who believe that Litecoin should function in the same way as currency and be used on a daily basis. Bitcoin is comparable to gold, in that it should be stored away in a secure location and should only be used for significant transactions as its value continues to rise. First off, let's first become acquainted with Litecoin's founder before continuing the conversation on the cryptocurrency itself. For a very long time, Charlie Lee has found great enjoyment in the game of poker. After gaining in-depth knowledge of the operational specifics of the system and receiving a conventional education, he was able to secure a position as a software engineer at Google. He worked for Coinbase as an engineer manager and subsequently as an engineering director from 2005 to 2017. So he already had a distinguished history when he started there. Initially, he intended for Litecoin to be a variant of Bitcoin that was quicker, less expensive, and less subject to the authority of a single party. Let's go on to the specifics of how Litecoin managed to accomplish its quicker transaction times, lower transaction fees, and improved decentralization. To begin with, the average block time for Bitcoin transaction is 10 minutes. To put it another way, all of the transactions are compiled and arranged into groups before getting inserted into 10-minute blocks. The addition of the subsequent block to the blockchain will not occur for another 10 minutes. This process now only takes 2.5 minutes thanks to Litecoin, which is a speed increase of 4 times. The number of transactions that can be processed by the network in 1 second is another area where Litecoin excels. Bitcoin is only capable of doing 5 transactions every second, and the cost of each transaction is typically anywhere between $2 and $10, although it can reach as high as $10 in some circumstances. Litecoin is now capable of processing around 54 transactions per second, at the cost of each transaction being then reduced to a cent or 2 at most. Next, Litecoin, like Bitcoin, is based on open source software. If a network is open source, then anybody is able to look at the code that it uses to run and may provide feedback if they wish to. If the recommendation is thought to be good enough and more than half of the miners agree with it, it'll be looked at for adoption. One further thing that Bitcoin and Litecoin have in common is the ability to split their values into 8 different decimal places. 0.00000001 Litecoin is referred to as a photon, whereas the equivalent quantity of Bitcoin is referred to as a Satoshi. Moving on, one of the most significant aspects of Litecoin is the fact that it was the first network to implement and use the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network is a 2-layer solution network that enables users to conduct transactions in a matter of seconds, essentially at no cost, and in a manner that makes payments far less complicated. The hashing algorithm that's employed by Litecoin is one of the most significant updates. When a computer mines blocks, the exact problem that it's trying to solve is known as the hashing algorithm. Litecoin is a proof-of-work cryptocurrency, which essentially means that miners utilize their computational power to work incredibly hard to predict the answer to the next block. When Litecoin was developed, miners on the Bitcoin network recognized that they could construct specialized hardware to mine Bitcoin considerably more quickly. This realization led to the creation of Litecoin. They had an edge as a result of the technological advancement in certain pieces of equipment. The specialized hardware is known as ASIC, and it was extremely costly, but it was far more efficient and effective than personal computing in addressing the Bitcoin challenge. Charlie Lee intended to employ a new hashing algorithm that leveled the playing field so that miners could once again utilize their own computers in a competitive setting to participate in the network and add blocks to it. It was his decision to use the script hashing algorithm. This meant that the blockchain was technically more decentralized, which opened the door for regular individuals with any old computer to join the network and compete for a chance to earn some Litecoin as it rewarded them for their mining efforts. To make a long story short, people immediately came to the realization that they could design an ASIC with the express purpose of solving the script hashing algorithm as well. Mining Litecoin using a computer is currently not particularly profitable due to recent market conditions. However, something that's interestingly referred to as, quote, merge mining is now possible. Merge mining is a technical phase that refers to the process of mining two different cryptocurrencies using the same gear without consuming any more power. The script hashing algorithm is utilized by Dogecoin, which is the second most popular cryptocurrency that employs the method. This indicates that the majority of those mining Litecoin are also mining Dogecoin. Additionally, the majority of the work done at the Litecoin Foundation comes from supporters of the project offering their time as volunteers. Let's continue by discussing the tokenomics of Litecoin. Litecoin did not engage in a pre-launch, pre-mining, or initial coin offering. Rather, it launched in a transparent way. To put it simply, this indicates that anybody can begin mining Litecoin as of this day. Because of this, miners were the ones who were able to obtain the very first batches of Litecoin. This is exactly how Satoshi introduced Bitcoin back when it first got started. The bad news is that Charlie Lee sold off all of his Litecoin during the pick of one of these ball runs, which was one of the very first ball runs. He believes that the reason he did it was the level of control that he genuinely had over Litecoin. However, many of the other investors are peeved that he would put all of his coins on the market at once and for no other discernible reason. Despite all this, he's continuing to work on making the procedure more efficient. In addition, there are only 84 million Litecoins ever produced in the world. It is the same as 4 times the value of Bitcoin. Litecoin follows the same 4-year cycle as Bitcoin, in which mining incentives are halved every 4 years at regular intervals. Because each transaction is visible to the public, we're able to audit individual wallets and confirm that there's not a significant number of whale wallets. Price-wise, the majority of the most important ones are what are known as exchange businesses. In general, the value of Litecoin is pretty much closely tracked as the value of Bitcoin. It also is almost exactly the same, with a few insignificant shades deriving from various application scenarios. As a result, it will be fascinating to observe where Litecoin will be situated in the next 10 years in light of the proliferation of new Layer 2 solutions. That was what Litecoin was all about in comparison to Bitcoin. If you enjoyed watching this video, I hope you found it informative. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you got value out of it, and share your thoughts about the video below. See you in the next video.